The Premier League season is literally days away, which means you should have at the very least have the first draft of your fantasy football L team sorted. But you've got Harry Kane and Eden Hazard and need some cheaper options to fill out your team. However, you don't want to just pack your squad with Brighton players, you actually want inclusions who are going to win you points and edge you up the table. Well, look no further than the Crystal Palace squad, who have more than a fair few potential point winners at knockdown prices. Here are the best options. Fantasy Football Tips 201,718. The best players to pick in your team. The must-have Wilf Zaha, Palace's star man last season and almost certainly the star man again this campaign. Wilf comes in at an affordable £7 million. That's the same as Juan Mata, Marco Arnautovic and Aaron Ramsey. He earned 149 points last season thanks to 7 goals, 10 assists and some starman performances, but he could easily earn more this campaign. If you are going to pick just one Palace player, make it Wilf. Hong Kong, July 22. Crystal Palace midfielder Wilfried Zaha in action during the Premier League Asia Trophy match between West Brom and Crystal Palace at Hong Kong Stadium on July 22, 2017 in Hong Kong. Photo by Victor Frey. Legacy images. The guaranteed goals. Christian Benteke. Every good fantasy team needs strikers that are guaranteed to score goals. In fact, most fantasy football nerds recommend making sure you spend big on strikers and work the rest of the team out later. Benteke isn't super cheap, coming in at £18 million, but that still makes him £4.5 million cheaper than Harry Kane and even cheaper than Michy Batshuayi, who isn't guaranteed game time at Chelsea. Benteke is guaranteed games and goals. He got 17 last season in his debut year at Selhurst and is aiming for more this coming season, and not only did he get the ball rolling on Saturday with a goal against Schalke, but Palace have some favourite runs this season where he could rack up a few. Benteke will score lots of goals this season. The goal-scoring defenders Scott Dan and Patrick Van Aanholt. Scott Dan loves a goal. Over the last 2 Premier League games he has scored 8 goals, which makes him Palace's 4th top goal scorer, behind Johan Cabaye, Zaha and Benteke. And the good news is that he has worked his way back into the team after losing his place under Sam Allardyce last season. He has been one of the star performers in pre-season and looks certain to play a starting role under De Boer this season. In fact, only one defender has scored more than Dan in the entire Premier League over the past 2 seasons, and that man is Eagles teammate Patrick Van Aanholt. He is going to play in midfield this season, meaning he could get even more goals. Both men are relatively cheap, with Dan £5 million and PVA slightly more expensive at £5.5 million. Scott Dan is back in the Palace team. The gamble. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek certainly would have been a decent option if he hadn't joined Palace on loan for the season. But as a result of his temporary move, he will now get far more minutes on the pitch, and so far in pre-season has looked very good indeed. He comes in at just £4.5 million, which makes him one of the cheapest midfielders in the game, but he isn't known for his goals and assists, so there's no guarantee that will bring you points. And with Frank de Boer's first-choice midfield far from sorted, he may not get regular games, but he certainly looks like he'll be pushing, and if you have some money spare, could be worth an addition before his price goes up. RLC could be a star for Palace this season. And finally, the secret potions no one else will have. Luka Milivojevic. No one outside of Palace really knows about Luka, but in South London he is already fans' favourite. And he could be a fantasy football favourite when people cotton onto the fact that he is a guaranteed starter and takes penalties and free kicks for the Eagles. He scored 2 penalties last season and a brilliant free kick in pre-season this summer against West Brom. And he is only £5 million. Get him now before his price skyrockets. Luka is the secret Palace star no one knows about. Which Palace players are you putting in your team? Leave us a comment below.